Alright, let me not beat around the bush. If dating was a 100-meter race, Gen Z would be trying to figure out how to enter the stadium whilst everyone else is already crossing the finish line. What I'm basically saying is, Gen Z and dating shouldn't even be in the same sentence. We have a hard time at it. And by hard time, I mean a really hard time. Dating just doesn't seem as easy, fluid, or stable as it used to be. When you compare dating across boomers, Gen X, millennials, and then Gen Z, you don't need 20/20 vision with a thermal scope to notice one of those groups are in the trenches when it comes to dating. If you're a bit slow, yeah, I'm talking about Gen Z. Anyway, so the big question is, how and why is dating like this for Gen Z? Well, have no fear. Osug is here to investigate the issue and be your dating therapist. However, disclaimer, when it comes to the advice, use at your own risk, as I may or may not ruin your current or future relationships. It just is what it is. Anyway, in order to make this video flow smoothly, I've organized it into chronological order when it comes to dating stages. Meeting stage, talking stage, what are we stage, relationship stage. Each of these stages has its own Gen Z-esque issues and problems. So explore that and figure out how to maneuver around all that BS. Let's jump into it. The meeting stage. This is one of the most talked about, analyzed, and highly debated aspects of dating as a Gen Z single. Where do you meet people to rizz up in the big 2024? So many guys and even girls struggle with meeting people in this day and age. With the rise of technology, social media, dating apps, eradication of third spaces, increased cost of living, and yada yada, social isolation is ever increasing. Now, I made that sound more serious than it is. Obviously, people are still out and about, frolicking in the fields, engaging in mischievous behavior, but there is a growing issue of less socialization. And as such, dating is kind of more difficult when you can't even accomplish the first step, meeting people, aka socialization. Now, if you're in high school or college, none of this should really apply. Meeting people is a breeze, and if it isn't, skill issue. Look, I'm just being honest, in those places, you're essentially surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of people your age, doing shared activities, getting forced into social environments, and so on and so forth. But for those who have graduated college or entered the workforce straight away after graduating high school, it's not that easy. Let's set the scene. You graduate college or high school, you start applying to jobs, you find a job in a different state or across the country or in a different town, you move there, you know a grand total of 0 people, you go to a 9-to-5 job which might or might not be a good place to meet people. Look, it depends. Sometimes you join a young party company or you join a retirement home. Anyway, at that point you're forced to look into hobbies or other communities, and who knows how that ends up, especially with cliques, people already having other friends and closed off personalities and whatever else. Even if you don't move and whatnot, the chances of your high school or college circle being intact is low, so you're still forced to seek out new people. And the reason I'm talking about people in social circles in general is because the more people you know, the more chances you have of meeting someone dateable, whether that's directly or indirectly. So this is the first issue of Gen Z dating, and we barely even got started. Really goes to show how cooked Gen Z is. So what's the advice? I'm going to keep it short and simple. You need to get out there. You have 5 options: work, hobbies, communities, friends, or via family. No Alabama. The last 2 you probably either tried or don't have, so you're left with work, hobbies, and communities. Work is probably a no-go. Don't mix business with pleasure, and it's limited. There's only so many people you can meet depending on the size and turnover rate of the company. Hobbies and communities are your best bet. I'd recommend anything you're interested in: arts and crafts, martial arts, book clubs, run clubs, church, temples, Bible studies, volunteering, whatever. Just get out there. And that's advice. There's nothing more to it. Anything more and it's just overcomplicating it. Yes, it's easier said than done, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Next up, talking stage. Arguably a trademark of the Gen Z dating experience. This is hands down one of the most tedious, mind-numbing experiences of dating. Now, some of you might know what I mean, but some of you might be thinking, what's the issue here? You're complaining about discussing cool, interesting things with a person you just met. Sounds like fun. Well, yeah, this is where the Gen Z aspect comes into the equation. The talking stage nowadays is a never-ending loop of the most basic, surface-level conversations. You're going to be discussing the exact same things every time without fail. What's your favorite color? What do you do for fun? How many siblings do you have? And all that NPC BS. The reason I say every time is because I got a dream to sell you if you think you're getting a home run on your first talking stage. Nah, buddy. But yeah, it's like encoded in their DNA to have the most dry conversations possible. I don't understand how any living thing can be so default and stock standard to the point of asking what someone else's favorite color. This is extremely common amongst Gen Z. So not only is that an issue in the talking stage, we have to deal with the fact that everything is a free-for-all during this phase. It doesn't matter how deep, how passionate, how locked in you are with that chick or dude, get ready for that hoe to disappear like DB Cooper or hit a nasty 4.2 40-yard dash out of whatever you guys had going on. These folk will leave you as quick as a fat kid leaving his mother when the ice cream truck starts sounding its alarms. There's zero loyalty, zero patience, zero locked-inness, but a whole lot of jumping ship. I know what some of you might be thinking: loyalty in the talking stage, bro's lost the plot. Now hear me out. That was a standard back in the day. At least from my secondhand experience, you know, from interviewing my ancestors, people weren't juggling 50 other options or dipping out whenever, however, for whatever reason. Nowadays, it'd be weird if they stayed. So yeah, that's that. So onto the advice. There is no advice. Just avoid it. How? How? I don't know. Staying off dating apps is a good start since people are emotionally disconnected on there. And apart from that, if you enter this deadly stage and it's exactly how I described it, unlucky. Move on or see how it plays out. Up next. What are we stage? Another pointless dating stage that Gen Z managed to pioneer. This one's probably even dumber than the other one. If you don't know what it is, let me explain it real quick. This is a stage where you're already more than acquainted with the person, but you're not in a relationship either. So it's like this middle ground where no one knows what is going on. Well, that's in the best case scenario. Typically, someone knows exactly what's going on. Look, in a fairy tale setting, both of you guys are deeply in love, yet too afraid to make it official or whatever. But in reality, someone's intentionally holding off for a couple of reasons. They want to explore their options, they want to smash without committing, or they just don't rock with you enough. That's just how it is. How many people do you hear complaining about the what are we stage on social media or in real life? A lot, especially amongst Gen Z. This is really common because people have an aversion to commitment nowadays. Whether that's right or wrong, it's not up to you or me. But you know what's up to you or me? Is how you deal with it. And that brings me up to the advice section. Firstly, if you get to a point where you need to ask what are we, you've already lost. Because let's be real, if they wanted you to know, you would know. If they wanted a relationship, you'd already be in one. Granted, there are exceptions and sometimes it could generally be a situation where both of you are too pussy to make it known, but more often than not, someone's not locked in. Secondly, if you do ask and they say they don't know or they want to see where it goes, just pack your bags and keep it pushing. A lot of you chicks need to hear that one because you just keep getting played by these dudes. They just want to hit. For the guys, she's either scouting for other talent or she's not a fan of your scouting report. All in all, that's just my 2 cents. The final stage. Relationship stage. This one's a bit tricky and deceiving because on paper, everything should be locked in, thriving, and sailing smoothly. But we know that's not the case, and there's a lot of hurdles still to be had. Now, this stage isn't exclusive to Gen Z, but a lot of the problems are seemingly Gen Z-esque. The first issue, bro, the non-stop comparing and contrasting. If the person you're talking to is chronically online, you're cooked. They're going to be seeing tens, elite builds, riches, motion, and simping. And you're going to have to compete with all that. And this ain't just to guys. You girls are also competing against these BBL facelift rhinoplasty warriors. Yeah, look, it's a bit extreme you're going to get dumped for the 6'5", 10% body fat IG model or the BBL IG baddie, but the seed is planted in their head. The constant overexposure to crazy standards really makes everything else seem trash. Secondly, handling conflict in a relationship. Man, for as emotionally aware we are as a generation, we sometimes drop the ball when it comes to conflict resolution in relationships. It seems like there's 3 go-to resolutions when it comes to handling relationship problems nowadays. Cheat, leave, repeat. Okay, maybe that's just for the hoes, but for the average person, it's not too far off. It's more like, it's not your fault, you can do better, leave. I don't know about yous, but maybe, just maybe, a good old talk it out or think it through properly will do just fine. I don't know, just a suggestion. Thirdly, there is no thirdly on my mind, but I feel like I need to end it on a thirdly rather than a secondly. I'm sure some of you guys have some good ones though. So onto the advice. For the first one, avoid social media addicts and dum-dums to begin with. Those 2 precautions should cover you pretty well. Now, if somehow, some way, someone slips through your security measures, 1, tighten up and get better. 2, communicate, shame and ridicule. Or be considerate. I don't know, depends if you're a lover or a hater. Just explain where you're coming from and help them understand. If that don't work, ball up top, leave. For the second one, bro, just be normal and discuss the vibes, or rather lack of, unless you get done dirty. Then dip. But apart from that, don't be a little baby, sort it out like you got balls or a set of ovaries. Anyway, that should cover Gen Z dating, man. What a roller coaster. I don't know what else to say. You've heard it all. From the meeting stage to the talking stage to the what are we stage to the relationship stage, it's all some crazy stuff. All you gotta do is follow Mr. PhD, Dr. Osserg's analysis and advice, and you'll be good to go, dodging and avoiding all these hoes and yuck Gen Z traditions like the Flash. Anyway, that's it from me. Let me know what you guys think about Gen Z and dating. Do you reckon it's good, bad, worse or better, happy, sad, fine, or should we get it together? Drop a little something for you guys there. Drop a like, subscribe if you enjoy this. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Laters.